Hey, everybody, welcome to Comic Book Curation. I'm Polly, and joining me, as always, is Inquisitor, freshly off 4chan. Quiz, how are you?
Go back to Tumblr, fag.
Whoa, that got hot fast.
That's fine. 4chan does that to me.
Right, I've only been to Tumblr once or twice, and only then to see if the rumors were true. They are.
No, it's really gross, but it's okay. I'm immune. It's fine.
Cool. And rounding out our triumvirate of awesomes, Jack from Bad Comic Reviews. Jack, how are you doing? Have you been to 4chan lately?
No, I think I've only been there a handful of times because I'm old. I'm more of a something awful person, I suppose.
Yeah,
But
see,
I haven't been there in a decade, so.
I used to frequent something awful too. You're the man now, dog. You know, early meme culture. Yeah, I get it.
It was before the internet was ruined by nannies. How you doing, Polly?
Doing all right. Trying to figure out some ongoing computer problems that I was telling you guys about, but that's nothing new there. It's been dogging me for a couple of months. In any case, though, let's move on to the.
We'll figure it out, Polly. I say we always do, especially like when I figured out your mic issue.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, chat. Don't think that I'm not interacting with you on purpose. It's just nobody's name will autofill for me in any YouTube chat. The chat's participant list for me only lists the stream creator. So like right now, when I click on chat and I click on participants, I'm the only one participating in the chat, apparently, according to my computer. So that's why no one's name will autofill. So it sucks. That means it makes it really hard to chat with people. In any case, like Quiz said, we'll figure it out eventually. I blame Windows 10. When I upgraded to Windows 10 is when the problem started. Yeah.
I blame YouTube.
Yeah, functional. See, Polly's too good for us plebs. See, that's what people think. The thing is like, oh, he doesn't want to talk to us. It's like, no, not at all. I love fucking around in chat. It just makes bands hard when people's names aren't autofilling, you know?
Well, to be fair too, I mean, the person who's actually running the stream has like the extra I guess burden placed upon them. I know when I'm running, the paint streams on Minions on Monday, I very rarely ever like type in chat. I'll look up, read chat, and then say something. But I've got my hands full painting, looking at all this kind of stuff. So yeah, that's all you need to do. Just interact with them verbally because you've got the microphone.
Yeah. It's actually shockingly difficult to focus on the conversation and interact with chat. So never take it personally, please, chat, because we can't always multitask. We're not good at that.
Yeah, I get this question from like Functional asks what browser. Man, I'm a multi-browser guy, so I have a whole bunch of them installed, and I like using different browsers for different things. Man, I've tried Edge, Brave, Chrome, Waterfox, Firefox, Opera, and Pale Moon. It's the same on all of them. No chat participant list. Nothing autofills. It's frustrating. In any case,
good night, Angela.
Oh, she did manage to step as long as the stream started. So yeah, there we did get started before she passed out. That's a good thing. Yeah, and everybody else in chat, Matt Winter and All You Need and Ebony Williams I saw previously. Everybody's here. That's great. Let's start off with the thumbnail for this week, which is Power Boob Window Lady.
That would be Power Girl.
Power Girl. Quiz, why don't you go ahead and tell us about Power Girl's boob window?
Well, how familiar are you with Power Girl?
She has a boob window.
That's pretty much everyone always thinks.
Well,
well, see, that's the thing. I like people always, talk about Power Girl, and they always bring up the boob window thing, and how she's a sexy girl, but like she's actually got a really good story. Like she's a refugee from another alternate universe. See, this is why all of the Gwens suck, because this is the story done well. See,
you're not talking in Power Girl's ear. Back up off the mic. It's fine.
I know. I'm just because fucking Gwen. Ugh. Anyway, see, Power Girl is actually Supergirl. She's Kara Zor-El from Krypton. The difference being is that on Earth 2, where she's originally from, she's actually an adult version of Supergirl. She's already grown up to be a straight up adult. But there was, I believe it was Crisis on Infinite Earths, was the storyline where Earth 2 was destroyed, like completely. It's gone. In fact, I think the entire universe of Earth 2 is gone. So because of that, she actually went with the people that were trying to defend the planet and got back to Earth 1. So she's a refugee where her existence is in question because she already exists here. Kara Zor-El already exists on this Earth. So there's already a Supergirl. Who is she supposed to be? So she became Power Girl. Yeah, like I said, this is actually the whole refugee from a different universe done right. And Marvel needs to learn some things.
I think that was a sideways stab at America Chavez.
That too.
I believe Functional may need to correct you because her correct name is Kara Zor-Gwen.
Oh yeah.
And
okay,
she's friends with Bat Gwen.
Yes.
Jesus.
And the reason for the boob window, they actually give a canonical reason. Make of it what you will. Since she is a refugee, since she is a in existence where someone of where she already exists, she doesn't really have an identity of her own. She can't take the Superman S, even though she is a Zor-El. She can't take that house symbol because Superman and Earth 1's Kara already do. So she left out the emblem on her chest to find her own symbol, and she has yet to.
Her own symbol is mad cleavage?
Yeah, well,
for now.
it distracts the enemy. I mean,
when your boobs are bulletproof, it's sort of works in your favor.
So lots going on this week. The the Star Warses, the Stairwares.
The Stairwares.
Yeah, went big with Vanity Fair. Because of course they did.
It's functional. We're all Gwens here.
Gwendy Williams, most definitely. Oh, you shouldn't have asked, Ebony. Yeah, I think Gwen Stacy is a fine character. I have argued repeatedly, even on this show, that Ghost Spider could be a usable character. Jack and I reoriented her character and made her interesting in a little pitch discussion we had with each other. But just the universe of infinite Gwens is fucked.
I would disagree with whatever you put out there. No, Gwen Stacy needs to remain dead.
Well, we're not disagreeing with that, but if you're going to have the character around, which Marvel's obviously obsessed with, they can at least make the character interesting.
Yeah,
and they're refusing to do so.
They could very easily just write her out again. They could very easily just kill her off again.
They can't do that. You know that. There's rules for these sort of things. Once you've made a
book sells.
No. Once you made a strong, independent woman that don't need a man, she can't go away because that's a defeat.
Gotcha.
There are no defeats in the revolution.
I think we should change subjects now. So let's cover this story. Okay. Leah Williams reveals the truth about new Gwenpool series. Don't trust the solicit. I'm a dick. Okay. As you're going to hear later on, ladies and gentlemen, Tom King may very likely is removed as the writer of Batman. And that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. Makes me happy.
Yeah, some people consider it a big deal, like Jack and myself, because good, and other people think it's like a disaster. Either way,
I think it's cool to get another writer to do Batman. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, we'll touch on that when we do. We have multiple tabs to cover that. But the reason why I reference it is because this article is from Shiltastic Bleeding Cool. There it is. Because of course it is. They're talking about Gwenpool as if it's a good thing. Of course, it's a shill site. Yeah, I mean, let's say that somebody said, "Hey, Polly, you want to? We're doing this new Gwenpool series. Would you like to do an interview with the writer?" And it's like, I don't know. How good of a sense of humor does the writer have? Because we're going to put them on a spit and turn them slowly over an hour, you know?
Are we allowed to make them cry?
Exactly. You better have a thick fucking skin. And for what I've seen of comic book pros on Twitter, that's not the case. But anyway, Bleeding Cool published no less than 5 articles today on Tom King, related to Tom King leaving the writing of Batman. And this is the 6th article where they reference it in the first line. Tom King's Batman run may be the talk of Twitter today. But in our humble opinion, the most exciting news announced today is that Leah Williams and David Belden will be creating a 5-issue Gwenpool miniseries.
Oh my God.
Starting at Marvel in August, titled Gwenpool Strikes Back.
That's the laziest title. Come on.
Gwenpool Strikes Back for the 6th time because she gets canceled 5 times.
Don't you mean Bleeding Gwen? Yeah, exactly.
Free Bleeding Gwen.
I wish Gwen would bleed.
No, if they gave it away on Free Comic Book Day, it'd be Free Bleeding Gwen.
See, what's funny about this is like all the articles today, I know the subject matter of them, and I read through some of the Tom King stuff, but most of the tabs you see up there, I haven't actually read today, so I'm reading for the first time. I did not know the title was Gwenpool Strikes Back. That's like rehashed character that's been rehashed to death, combined with rehashed movie title that's been rehashed to death and mashed together. This is so bad.
Yeah, well, Ryan Walters brings up a good point. There needs to be an electric boogaloo. Otherwise, it's they haven't done the meme to death yet.
Exactly. We need a more stale line. Gwenpool Strikes Back 2 Electric Boogaloo, right?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're past 2 though. This is what, 4? So it'd be more like, oh, this is 6th.
This is volume 6.
But it's a 5-issue limited series. At least they're admitting that from the jump. Well, they're not. You know, this is an ongoing series, and then 4 issues in say, we're ending our limited series, but you didn't say it was limited. Well, we were letting the dice roll.
Well,
it was
you know
a surprise.
Say, please don't give up on me, Anon. Not like everyone else in my life. Don't walk out of me, too. I know sales haven't been stellar, but I'll do anything to keep you from leaving. I'll even do smut if it'll make you happy and not leave. Filthy, degrading smut with butt stuff, too.
There's never been a more accurate representation of Gwenpool than what we're seeing on the screen.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's see what the rest of this article holds in store. Gwenpool Strikes Back is the title for the series starting in August. You've got Williams coming off an excellent run on Age of X-Men Extremitus.
They obviously haven't read that.
Right. With artist Georges Yainty. Georges? No, that's not how you say that. How you say that guy's name? Like Jorge's?
Jorge's?
Like that? Like I didn't think Jorge's not spelled like that.
No,
Anyway.
Jorge is just spelled George.
Jorge.
Yeah, that's how I've seen it spelt more often with the J. Anyway, so Jorge Yante, or Georges Gianti, which is turned into a tour de force in character exploration. No. A tour de force in character exploration, particularly for Blob and Psylocke. You've got Balden coming off an equally excellent run on Domino with writer Gail Simone. Through the future of Domino is one bit of this news that has us worried. And you've got Gwenpool coming off a very entertaining West Coast Avengers series that ended far too soon. Okay.
No, it ended far. Well, yeah, you're right. It ended far. No. It ended far too late. It should have ended before issue 1.
Well, let's real quick. Like for those of you who don't know about West Coast Avengers, it used to be a series back in the day, right? There was Avengers, and then they wanted so many team members. They just kept adding more and more and more. So they kind of split them off, and they did like A and B team Avengers. And some of them were based out on the West Coast, hence the name West Coast Avengers. They kind of like exhuming a body and using evil science to reanimate it. They reanimated the name of West Coast Avengers for evil purposes. In this case, who was on that team? the weird gay guy who could make psychic pink constructs. The America Chavez was on the team.
Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, and
yeah.
real Hawkeye.
And both, real
Well,
Hawkeye and fake Hawkeye were on there. Kate Bishop and Clint Barton.
The best part about that is that if you read the book, it doesn't say fake Hawkeye is Clint Barton. No. Well, no, it says fake Hawkeye is Clint Barton. That the real Hawkeye is Kate Bishop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So ironically, what Marvel did with West Coast Avengers is took all the characters that were from series that were suffering horrible because of poor sales. They canceled those series and then put all of those characters literally on the same team together, all their rotten eggs in one basket, and called it West Coast Avengers.
And tried to bring in the old people that actually read comics with Clint Barton, but even one person is not going to save that book.
Yeah. And I was amazed that they didn't put Gay Iceman in that group, because like he had also failed as a standalone character because of poor sales. Nobody read it, lambasted on Twitter and YouTube and shit. Everyone's making fun of it because it's so bad. But because it's woke, they refuse to admit that. Same way with America Chavez. Horribly unsuccessful, but it's woke. So they refuse to admit it failed. So they relaunch it and put her in the Marvel Uprising animated series with Squirrel Girl and everything like that. So anyway, that's what West Coast Avengers was. And if you don't believe me that Bleeding Cool is a shill site, like look at this. They called X-Men an excellent run. They called Georges Gianti a tour de force and character exploration, coming off an equally excellent run on Domino with writer Gail Simone, and the very entertaining Gwenpool series West Coast Avengers. It's like, you're lying, and you're lying. Like, none of those things are true, but nonetheless, here they are.
Yeah, they're untrue because just look at the sales figures.
Yeah. But in case, continuing with the article, you were worried by the cover and solicit for Gwenpool Strikes Back #1 revealed earlier today. Can someone look that up? I don't have the cover.
Give me a sec.
Sure. Williams had some reassuring words for Gwenpool fans, all three of them, on Twitter. The message read, "Don't trust the solicit text, you guys." Gwen on the cover of issue 1 of the miniseries, I'm unmasking Spider-Man. Oh, that cover. Oh, okay, I know the one where she's pulling Spider-Man's. Yeah, you guys will see it in a second. Gwen on page #1. Are they gone? Asterisk, asterisk. Okay, listen. Then Riley struggle with marketing me. I have to look like proto Harley Quinn to get past corporate.
What?
I think this is supposed to be they really struggle, and they're trying to make it look like because she's like funny, woke, hipster, teenager, popular girl. So she spells really RLY like they do on the social medias. Oh, shit. Quiz has a picture.
I hate these people.
Yeah, there you go. See, pulling off Spider-Man's mask.
I don't know what to say. This is just dumb. I don't see the point in producing another book that's going to be an intentionally low seller. The character is not successful or that widely liked.
No, it's not, but they refuse to let the character go because was really popular with what was
Heather Antos.
So what was Antos's office husband's name?
Oh, Brevoort? Tom Brevoort?
Yeah. Like, I mean, creator of Brevoorts, a creation of Brevoorts, and, played after his office waifu, Heather Antos, associate editor at Marvel at the time. Mark my words, she'll be back at Marvel.
Probably.
Well,
She'll probably come back to editorship.
She probably has a revolving door. Like, she can go back anytime she wants.
Yeah, she's just trying to build a resume. She's going to, 15 years from now, Heather Antos, hold on. Heather Antos is like anti-King Midas. Everything she touched turns to shit.
Mm-hmm.
she's just absolutely poison for any kind of advice or editorial guidance that she'll give on a comic book. Just look up Heather Ontos and the series that she's worked on, and look at their sales. She's just absolute shit. But she's woke as fuck, spends all day long on Twitter. Like, I'm kidding you. I'm not kidding you. Like, literally all day long on Twitter, every day, telling off Nazis, talking about how everyone's a misogynist. Everyone hates me. I'm the victim of harassment, even though she causes the people to write back to her because she goes around calling everybody a Nazi and a hate monger. And so it provokes people into saying, go fuck yourself. See, someone told me to go fuck myself. It's because I'm a woman. Everyone hates me because I'm a woman. See, like that was her shtick for years, and it worked and still works. So anyway, Gwenpool,
people need to stop giving them credit for that kind of shit.
But I mean, they're woke and they're industry pros, and that's the end of it. But in case you guys didn't know, Gwenpool is based on her, like literally as a person. Like, let's make Gwenpool look like her, and we'll create a character for you, Heather Ontos. Tom Brevoort thought that would be funny because Heather Ontos was his little office wife, and he loved flirting with her. And so I'll create a character for you. And there you go.
It's totes you, Heather.
Yeah, in my opinion, that's what was going on, and it's certainly not.
Well, I hope he at least got a handy for that, because he made all of us suffer so he could impress his work girlfriend.
Wait. All of us suffer? We're still suffering. And, I'd like to bring up one very important thing here. Shady says there's already a Lady Deadpool. Why create this character? There's already a Spider Woman. Why create Spider Gwen?
Because they hate us. They want to create something, quote, new that they can make super, super woke and then force it on us. Like I was telling Frosted Glass in the chat there, she's communism in comics form. They have to tell you that you like it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not wrong.
So Leah Williams continues on here. I know it's a bad look to be like, don't trust the solicit text, you guys, but Gwen is back against the wall, and truly nothing you see or read in the official promo materials will even remotely prepare you for what happens in each issue, because Gwen's engineering it that way on purpose. See, I'm sure you guys have all read Deadpool, the shtick of he breaks the fourth wall and refers to editors like he understands that he's a comic book character and so on. Yeah. Gwenpool is that. Like, she is a complete fucking ripoff of the character of Deadpool.
But she's better because she's got a vagina.
So yeah. Wait, hold on. Did anyone contact Rob Liefeld and ask him about that one?
Well, that was one thing that Rob Liefeld did not add to the character of Deadpool. That was not part of his character creation, that Deadpool breaks the fourth wall.
Like, I get that, but I mean, if they're gonna interrupt Rob Liefeld for fucking Caliber of all things, where I just don't see it. I don't see that other than the fucking X on his belt. Call back to those who haven't watched the video. Go watch the video after the stream. But this is straight up a ripoff. Abso-fucking-lutely.
See, it's like, okay. Additionally, Williams promised to treat Gwenpool with the respect she deserves.
She deserves no respect.
Yeah. In Gwenpool Strikes Back, making sure to take into account all of the Gwenpool's recent character development. Nobody cares. Nobody knows what her so-called character development is. I don't know. Nobody. And I'm sure if I went and found out, I'd be sorely disappointed and more angry than ever. Fuck off. Look at how many tweets there are here. God damn, bleeding cool. Oh, there it is at the bottom. I gotta just scroll down. I didn't realize that. Like I said, I hadn't read these issues. But I mean, this is the whole point of the character of, you have like Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe and Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe again. Like jokes like this, things in and around Deadpool, he's breaking the fourth wall, doing weird shit like this, taking on Thanos and so on. It's just transferred over to, in a pink onesie, Gwenpool, haha, she's got a gun, she's crazy, she talks outside the fourth wall. Because, hey, we need a woman doing these things, and people like Deadpool, so you'll like our woke version too, right?
Functional said, this makes me want to convert to Islam. If I was tasked with writing a Gwenpool standalone book, I would take the Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe and flip the premise. The Marvel Universe kills Gwenpool, and every page would be just a different hero killing her and her coming back to life to be killed by someone else.
No, you know what? You know what I would do? I would draw it out like 4 issues of Gwen like running away from the rest of the Marvel universe, talking about how insufferable a character she is, and like, you know, near misses trying to kill her until she like finally gets to an area where like she can summon in all of the other Gwens from the Gwen universe, and then all of them get mowed down by Frank Castle.
Ooh, that'd be good. And then eaten by Galactus, just
Yes.
to make sure.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the solicitation, you know, Gwenpool Strikes Back #1 of 5. Thank you for being honest there and admitting that it wasn't an ongoing series. Marvel has a habit of doing that, starting a new series, not saying anything about it being limited, that this is a brand new series, #1. And then sometime between issue 4 and 7, they announced the ending of this limited series as if they had always intended that. It's like bullshit. It was just failing miserably in sales. And we know #1s will sell more than anything. So we're going to just, oh, it's a limited series. Okay, well, it's brought to an end. Okay, new Gwenpool series. And we're on Gwenpool volume 6 now? 7.
Well, this would be 6. But if they do that and they bring out another new Gwenpool series, it'll be Gwenpool #7.
So everybody in chat, when you hear a massive managerial restructuring at Marvel down the pipe, and they're canceling like, oh God, what do they run now? 58 different titles, I think. More than that.
No, they got like 100 titles every month. Yeah,
it's insane. They have an insane, unsustainable amount of titles. Most of them that aren't selling. They're just looking to keep their numbers high by shipping. And it's important to remember, as we talked about before, comic sales are not measured. Only comic shipments are measured and available for analysis by, you know, industry analysts, right? Yeah. So they're just trying to keep those numbers high by shipping, and let the local comic book shops deal with the unsellable issues. And okay, but there's reasons that less and less issues are being ordered by these local comic book shops because you keep over shipping to keep your numbers high. And eventually you're going to hear why it failed. And you, chat, will know why. Because they've been playing bullshit like this. And this is on some Gamergate shit. I'm loath to bring that up because it seems to come up for everything, but it's got a lot to do with shill media. Because look at this, like nobody cares about Gwenpool. We're just sitting here busting balls because it's such a frustrating character. But like Leah Williams is writing this book, so you got Bleeding Cool. Look, we're just going to republish all of Leah Williams' tweets as if it's a story, and then talk about how awesome it is and how wonderful it is, and everyone's looking forward to it and a tour de force of character development. Bullshit! You're a bunch of fucking liars.
Well, that's the part that really kind of pisses me off is the fact that they're just, you know, posting up all of that kind of stuff as if it's posting Twitter as if it's news. But you know, one thing that really kind of pisses me off about that, I was just realized that when you were frozen on that part of the article. Okay. It's the same artist.
Oh crap! It looks like it.
Terry Dodson. No, it is. The cover. This cover is drawn by Terry Dodson.
Wow, the Harley Quinn one's way better though.
It is, and it's a good comic.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that for the Gwenpool cover. It's a well-drawn cover. It's just like a stupid concept and a stupid idea, and what the hell's going on here? And fuck you guys, you know.
A stupid character too.
Yeah. Well, in any case, what should we move on to now? Oh, I know. You guys are going to kick out of this. Before we move on to something a little bit more in depth, we'll just have a fun one-off here. Kevin Feige says Mark Ruffalo pitched more MCU Hulk stories.
Why?
Of course he did. You don't think this asshole was full of ideas to promote himself? And I got an idea. Let's have Hulk go fight the wage gap.
Yeah. No, and he's going to fight deforestation or something stupid like that, because this granola crunching loser is the type that would talk about that. Oh, we got to preserve the rainforest, and Hulk could go down and like be one with nature, man.
Okay, let's see. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige has revealed how Mark Ruffalo played a role in Hulk's journey in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Feige took part in a Reddit Ask Me Anything and answered a ton of questions from fans, with one involving a meeting between Feige and Ruffalo years ago, surrounding what Ruffalo wanted out of Hulk's character arc, which ended up playing out in Thor Ragnarok and Avengers Infinity War. So you're trying to tell me Mark Ruffalo wanted Hulk to have impotency? Huh. It's kind of like he was projecting onto the character. Apparently Mark Ruffalo can't get it up. Interesting.
Hypothetically, that was a joke. Marvel, don't sue.
It was hypothetical, of course. We're kidding here. It's
that was all in jest. or were we?
He can't get his Hulk up.
Well, that's what was going on with Hulk, right? He was scared to come out. He couldn't get stiff or turgid. You know, it's think about it. I said as a total joke. Okay, quote. Many years ago, Mark came in for a meeting with us at Marvel Studios to discuss ways in which the Hulk could grow and evolve.
Be throbbing. Gonna stand upright, fully erect.
I like Frosted Glass there. Hulk smash the patriarchy.
Although if he stays as the Hulk for more than 4 hours, he has to go see a doctor.
Yeah.
Is it possible that Ruffalo's ideas included the childlike, talkative Hulk in Ragnarok, and the reluctant Hulk in Infinity War, and the Professor Hulk and character in Endgame? Also, when Feige said Ruffalo had other ideas that would be, quote, cool to see someday, it leaves the door open for the Hulk to return in future installments. Could the MCU see the World Breaker Hulk, Immortal Hulk, Joe Fix-It? No. That would insinuate that Mark Ruffalo has any idea of what's happened with the Hulk character in any of the comics. I don't believe for a second that this guy's even perused a comic.
Yeah, neither do I.
No, he seems like the type that would say that's beneath him.
Yeah. Well, I don't read comics. Yeah, but you're playing a comic book character. Well, yeah, but they give me money and it gives me a platform to tell everybody about what awful Nazis they are.
See, this is why I really like Margot Robbie. After landing the role of playing Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad, what did she do? She absolutely engrossed herself in the comics.
Yeah, but she's a better actor.
Yeah.
It seems like a nicer person for that matter.
Hey. Ruffalo's got things to do. Okay, he's got late night talk shows to go and pontificate about politics on. You think he's got time to read about his character so he actually understands what's going on? He's got virtue signaling to accomplish, gentlemen. Anyway, you will notice that that is the complete article, by the way. Thank you, CBR, for turning something that happened on someone else's website into a complete article for you and comic fodder for us. Thanks.
Does it say exclusive?
No, this isn't an exclusive. It's in their TLDR section in case you don't want to go through the entire Kevin Feige Ask Me Anything.
Oh, it's on the TLDR because their article is only 2 paragraphs long. That's too long. Don't read. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
you know what?
What say we're on?
Fuck it. Let's do it right now. Warner Brothers cast Robert Pattinson as the next Batman. Or has it? You know what? See the article right here? I'm not going to click on it. Fuck it. I'll click on it so it'll be on screen at the time. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to go against the grain. I'm okay with this.
I don't care.
I that's what I mean. Like, people are kind of outraged. I don't care. I'm fine with it. It
all comes down to the movie.
It does. Movie. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. This is obvious. When they picked Ben Affleck to play Batman, people were kind of like, "You got to be kidding me! You got to be kidding me!" Yeah, no one had any idea they were going to give him salt and pepper hair and old man makeup and have him play grizzled Frank Miller, old man Bruce Wayne in his early 50s. This is clearly not what they're going for here. They're going to be going for 28-year-old young punk Bruce Wayne. Okay. I've seen this guy act outside of the Twilight films. He can act. Okay, I'm down.
Yeah.
Well, ex-Bubba Hopetep has a point. As long as he doesn't sparkle. People have made that reference. It's like, could this guy I don't know. He's got a grim look on here. If you picture him acting off of 2x4 there. What's her name?
Kristen Stewart.
Kristen Stewart, if you picture him acting off of her, I mean, she's so bad, she radiates wooden acting to the actors around her. You know,
for the people that don't know who Robert Pattinson is, he was the vampire Edward in the Twilight movies. He's been in some other stuff more recently, but that's what he's best known for.
And all you got to really do to see if he would make a decent Batman is just put your thumb over the image, covering up everything but like the bottom of his nose all the way down to his chin. Yeah, no, he's got the chin for Batman. He's cool.
Well, I don't know. The question for me has never been who can play Batman. It's who can play Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
You know.
Well, I think it's one of those things like Michael Keaton really kind of set the precedent that anyone with a decent script and decent direction, and if they have talent, they can be Batman.
True.
Except for
who?
Val Kilmer. That's right. Okay.
No, Val Kilmer was great. What are you talking about? He was the only good part of that movie.
Yeah, Val Kilmer was not the worst part of that film. The bat nipples probably were.
Well, no,
the bat nipples were from Clooney. Yeah.
Yeah, and George Clooney is the worst Batman.
Go back and look. It's in Batman Forever, too. Because Joel Schumacher directed both films. And it's got nipples on the bat uniform. It's just not as noticeable.
You know, Pop Tart has a point. He's a rich young man. He's probably up in strip clubs. He will be sparkling.
Oh, yeah, he's got plenty of stripper glitter all over him. Yeah.
That's right. And once that stuff gets mixed with stripper sweat, it never comes off. I've been told. But anyway.
Just if it gets on your pillow, man. And then it's a fight, and then you got to go and sleep on the couch.
Why are you having the strippers stay over? That was your first mistake.
No, the glitter gets on your pillow.
And then you got to go sleep on the couch? Why? And let her sleep there?
Because the wife sees it.
Oh. You're married?
Check. Look, right here by her finger, that's a bat nipple. It's just not as pronounced as the George Clooney movie.
Nah.
See? Nah. He ain't got the chin to be Batman.
He was fine.
Oh my God. Yeah, he was fine. The rest of the movie was terrible.
The worst part about it was, like, it wasn't even Jim Carrey's Riddler, really. That was probably the most interesting part of the villainy in that one. The part that really let me down was, oh God, what's his name? Shit.
Tommy Lee Jones?
Tommy Lee Jones, yeah. Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face was terrible.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Well, in any case, let's move on to everybody upset since we're still on the Batman. Let's there we are. Rumor: Tom King taking off Batman. Last issue will be 85. Okay, this is a King of the Shills and social justice fucktard himself, Rich Johnston. When we go over to CBR, there's Tom King, in case you're curious what he looks like. King leaving Batman by the end of 2019, has more DC projects in the works from Shiltastic CBR. But fuck both of them. We're going to go over to Bounding into Comics and read their story of
it. Hang on, Polly. I view Tom King a lot like this uniform. At first, you're like, oh, it's Batman. And then you see the Tom King right here.
Hold on. Let me just present you.
You don't need to present him when he's rubbing his fucking virtual hand all over Val Kilmer's nipple.
Well, I can't do it to her because then we'd get in trouble with YouTube.
I'm not a fan of her. I know some people think she's hot, but I don't.
Who's that? Kim Basinger?
No, it's Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, fuck her.
I have a weird love-hate relationship with her because in some movies she looks really hot. Other movies you're like, I don't know what's going on here.
There's plenty of other redhead actresses that are hot. And I think redheads with pale skin, yeah, they could be very hot, but I just don't understand why she's it's not like she's the only one on the planet that acts, Hollywood. You can hire someone else.
Right.
Anyway.
Well, they do, but the thing about it is that people put her in like extremely pretentious movies like Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, she needs to be in something dirty like my bedroom.
Well, nothing was as pretentious as I
Clean
was
up your bedroom.
Come on.
No, there's cameras in there.
Okay.
I gotta hide them somehow.
Report: Tom King removed from Batman by DC Comics. A
Yay!
new report indicates that DC Comics has removed Tom King from their Batman series. The report comes from Rich Johnston and Bleeding Cool, because when they want the information to come out, they give it to the ultra shill who will publish anything. Looking at you, Johnston.
Yeah.
And states that King will exit the series after Batman 85. They also note that King did not make the decision. King appears to have addressed the rumors on his Twitter, simply writing, "So many kind notes. You all rock." Moving on, Tom King took over Batman with Batman Rebirth in 2016, following his Vertigo Comics run with Sheriff of Babylon. King had previously indicated that his Batman run was going to be a 100-issue story, which is ultra rare for writers these days, y'all. Ultra rare to go a full 100 issues. Even 25 issues would be a very long run for a writer in current year.
Yeah.
So yeah, they loved him, Tom King, over at DC. I mean, in any case, he says he described it as a documenting and celebrating the love of Batman and Catwoman. He added, "Whatever happens, whenever anyone says, nothing's going to spoil that." So he was dead set.
He's an idiot. First
You didn't
of all,
like a love story between Catwoman and Batman?
No, because of the garbage stunt they pulled with issue 50. That was the biggest slap in the face to all the loyal readers. And I wasn't even a loyal reader, and I was like, wow, that was a backhand to your face.
You don't like the idea of going all the way to the altar and then saying, "Oh, fuck that"?
No, I think it's first of all, it would have been more interesting to have them married. Second of all, it was such a stupid move to, first of all, spill that secret to the New York Times, and then to pull the rug out from under fans that were all excited about this wedding because they were hyping wedding, and then they pull that right out from under you. And then he's done nothing but deconstruct the character for his entire run, tear him down to this sad soy boy. And there's only like another 25, 30 issues before this big 100th issue, so before all this. And he's done nothing to build the character back up. So he's just torn him down. He hasn't done anything productive for Batman. Nothing.
Perhaps I don't disagree at all. I don't disagree at all. He's kind of, at least he hasn't turned the character like frivolous or comedic like they've done with Batgirl, like where it's just become like a joke of a delightful romp is what they're aiming for, and it ends up being stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
Tom King does write, quote, serious stories. He does, but I absolutely agree with your criticism. I even think that the phrasing deconstruction is generous. It's a phrasing that's used a lot. I would say the best character deconstruction, like a superhero deconstruction that's ever happened. And listen up, Quiz, because it's rare that I would say this. Probably happened in Watchmen. No, but I would, because people point at Dark Knight and they say it's good character deconstruction of the superhero mythos. It is, but it's more specific to Batman. Yeah, because you have moments where in Dark Knight Returns where Joker's psychiatrist is explaining that Batman actually causes the supervillains to appear because he dresses up in a costume and runs around trying to stop criminals. This makes criminals want to dress up in costumes and do it as well. Like he's the one causing it to happen. Joker's not responsible for his actions. Joker's actually a mentally ill person, and Batman's the real one who's the real villain here. You know, it's kind of like playing with the idea and messing around with the notions of what happens when psychiatry and pop culture and everything gets involved. And it's one of the many reasons Dark Knight Returns is an awesome series. But to deconstruct superheroes writ large, yeah, Watchmen.
I would also, you know, I've made this claim for a very long time. If you wanted to really break down Batman in particular, the story of Batman isn't Batman's story. Like Batman is there to maintain the status quo. He's there to bring things back to normal. The people who actually are trying to, you know, complete something or trying to, go on a journey and who are trying to accomplish something are always all the villains. That's what makes the stories interesting. That Batman has to, foil these villains because they're trying to accomplish something. And so that makes Batman the antagonist and the villains the protagonist.
And that, the ideas and I mean, we've all read Watchmen here. And for those of you who haven't, I won't go into the whole story, but it's like, how do people start wearing masks and become superheroes, and what happens after they retire? They know each other on a personal level, and the interpersonal problems that they have. And it really is a deconstruction of the superhero mythos inside of Watchmen. It's very well done. Before Alan Moore moved to the bush, started creating overpriced porn and worshiping bundles of sticks. That's what he does these days, and he's quite crazy. But anyway,
calm down there, Razor Fist.
He's not wrong.
But even Alan Moore did other deconstruction works, like Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, where it was the final Superman story of the Silver Age.
Yeah. Well, okay. But to describe what Tom King is doing as deconstruction, I would say not. Like, you have stuff Heroes in Crisis.
It's deconstruction if he builds the character back up, which he doesn't do. There's no completion of the hero's journey with Tom King. It's just tearing people down.
Yeah.
Because it's weirdo therapy journals.
And Jack did a great segue into the Heroes in Crisis thing. Heroes in therapy is what people jokingly refer to it. It's like Tom King should be in therapy instead of making the characters go into therapy when he's writing them.
Yeah.
This is from Heroes in Crisis. A bunch of heroes all end up on an island, and they're talking to a psychiatrist droid. And this is
Kansas.
Say again?
They're in Kansas.
In Kansas. I thought they were.
Sanctuary's in Kansas.
So they're at a sanctuary. And what did I read? Issues 2 and 6? I can't remember. Doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, they're all crap, so it doesn't matter.
They're all hanging out together. And page after page is littered with boxes like this of just the characters staring straight forward and saying and doing things. I'm Harley Quinn. I don't believe in trauma. Oh, I know it's a thing that everyone thinks is real. Listen, I spent the years of my life listening to these people. Oh me, oh my mommy, my daddy. And Harley Quinn is nothing but, I'm crazy, I'm delightfully, wonderfully crazy. That's her entire quote arc within this series. Right? Batman is bad above bad. I mean, here he is. He's the Batman.
Why is Harley there anyway? She's not a hero.
Doesn't matter. She's in crisis.
Well, it's for heroes and villains. And she's sort of a hero these days for whatever reason.
Not really. She's
no, but they're billing her that way. They're trying to make her into a hero type. Well, I don't know why, but
yeah, neither do I. But even in her own comic, when she's going out and doing things, she gets a gang. It's not a heroic act. She runs around murdering people in a fight club.
But she's popular, so they gotta try and somehow work her into working with the Justice League. She takes down Batman like a bitch in issue 2.
Just leave her a villain.
Bitch.
Just leave her a villain.
No, she gets Wonder Woman's lasso even. She managed to beat Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman all in one go. It was pathetic. Tom King has the same weird worship of women that you see in Joss Whedon's work, where women are all powerful and almost omniscient, but all the men are bungling idiots, and they just kind of dur everywhere they go.
Well, that's been a trope of pop culture and pop writing for as long as it's been okay to hate men, which has been ever. The one Disney Channel cartoon, fucking Kim Possible, is that stereotype to a T.
Oh yeah, but Tom King really buys into that. And what really sickens me about Tom King is that he doesn't seem to like heroes. He actually seems to actively hate the idea of heroics, of people going out and doing good for an altruistic reason or sacrificing themselves for others. He seems to actively hate that. And what really pisses me off about the whole thing, other than all the deconstructionist bullshit, and him tearing down Batman the way he has, is that this man worked for national security. He worked for the CIA. You have somebody with this many mental problems and depression or whatever that he seems to have working in the defense of our country. How much stuff was getting through because this guy has all these weirdo issues?
Could be, given the most generous interpretation, he could have gotten these issues because he was there. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't care about Tom King. I think he's a garbage writer. He sometimes has some good ideas. Like the first half of Mr. Miracle was pretty good because you thought it was going somewhere, and it never did. It just sort of meandered on until issue 12, and they're like, "Oh, the end." He's awful, and what he did to Wally West in Heroes in Crisis, spoiler alert, is fucking unforgivable.
What did he do to Wally?
He turned him into a villain.
Now, which Wally are we talking about here, too?
Real Wally from the 90s.
Okay.
Or as some would say, White Wally.
Yeah, White Wally.
Because they wanted to get rid of anything from before Rebirth, and Wally West was a hangover from that. So they got rid of that so they could keep Black Wally.
See, that's fucked up because, like, that's, first of all, isn't, no. Okay, I was going to say, isn't Kid Flash still in Titans, but no, that's Black Wally. But like Wally coming back into post Rebirth, that was the whole point of the Button.
Yeah,
and that was a really, really good story.
Yeah. The Tom King is capable of good story, but I think somebody else I think Jeff Johns had a larger hand in the Button than anyone else because they were going to lead into Doomsday Clock with that.
Yeah.
And Wally, you saw Jay Garrick in there too, which nobody seems to remember Jay or any of the other Justice Society, which you have to read Doomsday Clock for that one, kids. I'm not going to ruin that. But Heroes in Crisis, I have no problem ruining. I'm sorry. It's a terrible fucking book. And what they did to kill off heroes in that was horrible. It was very unheroic. And doing that to a beloved character like Wally West, who has been the Flash longer and in more stories than Barry Allen.
Yes, he has. After Barry died in Crisis on Infinite Earths, Wally took over the mantle and was Flash for longer.
Yeah, and that was from 1986 until, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
He was in more stories and longer than Barry was around. So it's a bunch of bullshit that they want to bring Barry Allen back and just completely ignore all the great storytelling that was done about Wally West because he was an actual hero who did actual heroic things. And Tom King's like, nope, gonna shit all over that. I hate this. And then he does the same thing with Booster Gold. And some of the stuff he did with Booster is just disturbing. Like Booster would be insane. He would have to be a sociopath for some of the stuff that they had him doing in the Batman story where he tries to undo the killing of the Waynes, and he goes through all these different scenarios where he sees like a Batman killing himself, and he's like, "Oh, that's cool." And there's like blood on his face from where he killed himself. It was sick. Sorry, I got off on a little rant there. I apologize.
No, I remember that video that you put up about that. And yeah, it was weird. Like because Booster Gold is always supposed to be like the comedic relief. He's never supposed to be the hard drama foil, you know?
Yeah, he's still wanting to be a hero. Yeah. He isn't supposed to be a psychopath. And turning Wally into what they did in Heroes of Crisis was an insult to all of the fans of The Flash from the 80s through Rebirth. And I think it was unforgivable because they tainted the character so horribly.
Well, I'll tell you this much, Jack. At least Wally got off better than Green Arrow did. After New 52, they just wrote off Connor Hawke. He just doesn't exist.
Yeah. They got rid of Connor Hawke and Connor Kent.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what they have. Well, Dan Didio doesn't seem to like legacy characters. And that seems to be why a lot of these are okay. Because he doesn't want these. That's why they got rid of Tim Drake for a really long time, too. That he doesn't want these, like, younger heroes coming up.
Yeah, and
I don't
they're
know
still
why.
fucking with Tim Drake too.
Yeah, I don't know. Frosted, you don't want to know. He asked what happened with Wally. Can I spoil that? Anybody care?
Go for it.
Polly,
I'm listening.
oh, okay. So you know how there was these murders at Sanctuary, right? That's the premise of Heroes in Crisis. Somebody went around and killed them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Wally West did it.
Why?
He accidentally killed somebody, and then to cover it up, he killed more people and then himself. Yeah. So he even used time travel to get away to like kill himself. He used Skeet. So instead of just undoing the accident that caused the deaths of people, he just used it to cover up the crime and then killed himself. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This is insulting. It's not Wally West, first of all, because Wally's actually treated like a person most of the time. This was just some sort of like total disregard for the character that's been around since the first Teen Titans series back in the old days, because he was Kid Flash for the longest time.
Yes, he was.
So I don't know. I think that was absolutely insulting to longtime fans, and I was enraged when I read that. Like for the first time in my life, I ripped up a comic book. I was that mad, and I don't get mad most of the time. Like, oh, that story sucked. But I was enraged at the way they did it. And Tom King can go fuck himself. I hate the guy. I think he's a piece of shit that needs serious therapy and needs to not be around comic books or writing except for therapy journals, because the guy has some serious issues that he needs to work out. And I'm real glad they're taking him off Batman, because maybe Batman will get his testosterone back. Frosted Glass says clearly Wally was radicalized by Gamergate and Comicsgate. That's a possibility, I suppose.
Yeah. And PewDiePie.
Yeah. But sorry, I got on my soapbox, Polly. I know you were in the middle of something. I'm sorry.
What it comes down to is a number of different things. Everybody's speculating on why Tom King would possibly be removed from this. Falling sales are probably a big reason for that. Scott Snyder, who was the previous writer, ended on number 52 of Batman, and that had shipped 102,000 copies. Batman as number one, which is rebooted under King, shipped 280,000, and that was in June of 2016. But the sales, number ones always sell better, and they have been on a steadily decreasing thing, down to 88,000 units, the last one, which was number 68, 69 was the last one that Comicron has numbers for. So all the way down to 88,000 copies shipped, which is really, really low for Batman. That is DC's flagship series.
Yeah, that's the one that always consistently tops Comicron, but if it's not getting in the hundreds of thousands of issues shipped, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And Warner Brothers, or whoever came down the wire with this, had to have known that they're getting their asses handed to them. I mean, they lost to Immortal Hulk last month. Seriously, Immortal Hulk? That book is terrible.
And War of the Realms.
Oh.
Symbiote Spider-Man that I pitched last week, that beat it too. Symbiote Spider-Man, a limited edition. This was number 2. It wasn't even the number 1. And that beat Batman.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sad.
But Symbiote Spider-Man's a great series. There's a reason I pitched both number 1 and 2, because this is a Snyder written. This is actually interesting. This is really good. Like, it's not the greatest thing I've ever read, but it's fucking totally worth the cover price, which is saying a lot considering the cover prices.
Well, Scott Snyder did a really good job with Batman, and then, we can compare the two authors because, he's working on a limited edition Spider-Man run that's selling better than Batman. How do you do that? Well, I guess Tom King's writing is not wowing people like Scott Snyder's is.
Yeah. Well, and King's work doesn't seem to go anywhere. It's just constantly tearing Batman down, and it doesn't go anywhere. I don't see any point to any of this.
I think that's a large part of people's frustration with King that, like I said, he does write serious comics. They are dour, and Batman is a dour character. But then, like, and then what? Like, I'm not saying like some kind of redemption. Just where does it go? What are you going to do with it? As opposed to expression of dour idea, expression of dour idea. I mean, this epitomizes that notion in my mind. Again, there's whole pages in Heroes in Crisis that are just these panels of the character talking. Batman, Bruce Wayne's staring at the ground. I train partners to work with me. They become my family. I've watched so many of them die.
No, you haven't. No, you
Seemed
haven't.
like 2.
Jason Todd didn't even die on screen with you. By the time you get to his body, he was already dead.
Yeah. Maybe they're talking about Clayface,
Yeah.
but even he didn't die.
No.
I don't know. He's trying to be dramatic there, and you don't need 3 panels to be dramatic. Okay,
Yeah,
you can do it dramatic, but
2 panels where he's not talking, it's dramatic.
Yeah, if they'd spaced that out a little more, maybe it would have made more sense. But it's like he does these long, like 9-panel pages, and nothing happens that couldn't be summed up in 2 panels.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing where a different artist in a different era would have had Bruce Wayne sort of like maybe like face palming, and it would have been like a full page splash of him, like, you know, in this office, you know, receiving therapy, and he's like, so much would have been told through a single picture as opposed to, you know, this repetitious idea. Even this idea run for 1 or 2 issues, okay, but it was ran across the whole miniseries. This idea, this not only was bad editing, but there's a lot of it wasn't only bad writing. There's a lot of editorial culpability in this as well, because where were the editors? Yeah, do you really think that people are going to want to pay $4 after $4 after? No, wait a minute. They weren't $4 cover prices. They were higher. Heroes in Crisis, weren't they?
Yeah, they were like 5.
Yeah. So are people really going to want to pay above average, right? You know, I don't know. There's a reason the criticism is out there, in my opinion. So but it's over with Tom King, and as happy as I might be, that has sort of come to an end. I don't know. I'm worried about what they're going to do next. It's like, this was too dour, and it's like, the problem isn't that Batman's dour. The problem is that it was nothing but statements of depression that went nowhere.
Yeah. You know? Like I said, I don't want to read some dude's weirdo therapy journal.
It was just a downer. There were a lot of the Carl Kessel penned issues of Harley that were very dour in nature, but they always had an overarching story that went somewhere. And the theme I'm hearing from Tom, now I'll be full disclosure here. All I'm hearing is hearsay here. I've not read any of Tom King's stuff, period. But all I'm hearing is that he's just dour for dour's sake, and the story goes nowhere. It's not the 90s anymore, and you're not Rob Liefeld, Tom. People demand more from their stories. Yeah.
And you know what? As much as we crap on Rob Liefeld, at least he can create a story. Like, it goes somewhere. There's a point to it.
Yeah.
It's not terribly complex, but it does go somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a dumb point, but yeah, it goes somewhere.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, it's probably ripped off of some other book with characters from the X-Men. But go watch the video we did, kids. But yeah, at least he's got beginning, middle, and end, and there's a point to it. Tom King, it just feels like he's sad things happen, man, because they're sad. The end. Give me $5.
Well, this I haven't read this story, but I'm curious to see where it goes from bounding into comics. Dorkhurst writer John Arcudi. There are thieves, racists, and misogynists in positions of power in comics.
Oh no, my soggy knees.
Yeah. I'm curious where this goes. Jack had actually sent this to me in Twitter DMs. Dark Horse Comics writer John Arcudi recently took to Twitter to declare that there are thieves, racists, and misogynists in positions of power in comics. Specifically, Arcudi wrote, quote, "Look, yes, of course there are thieves in position of power in comics, and there are racists and misogynists too, and much worse. But don't let anybody marginalize you or push you out of this medium. Comics needs you. Okay?" Oh.
It's good to know that as a straight white male, I'm needed in comics.
Yes.
Did John Arcudi write anything that I've read? Let me just see.
Probably
here.
not.
In the meantime, he didn't provide any context to his comments.
But that won't stop us from writing an article.
Well, it won't stop him from tweeting it out, right? If you can say racist, misogynist, etc. over and over again, there you go, right? He didn't provide any context to his comments, but he did indicate that it, quote, is a response to a specific event, end quote. He also notes, quote, "I'm respecting someone's privacy, so please don't ask." Then shut up. Fucking
BG asked if he's talking about Mark Wade.
Arcudi is a veteran of the comic books industry. He broke into the industry in the mid-'80s with Malibu Comics and worked on its Eternity line. He would go on to write Savage Tales and the Savage Sword of Conan. He would really break out when he began to write for Dark Horse Comics and developed a character, The Mask, in Mayhem. In fact, his work with Doug was instrumental in Jim Carrey's version of The Mask in the feature. You're responsible, you motherfucker. He recently indicated he was not treated well on the movie adaptation of The Mask. Okay, wine, I don't care. Arcudi's other works include something, Aliens, BP, something, Lobster.
It's based on the Hellboy. He worked on Hellboy too.
Lobster Johnson, Terminator, RoboCop, and Predator. He would also work on DC Comics with Aquaman, Batman, Gotham Knight, and others.
Yeah.
His work at Marvel continues, blah, 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 blah. So, Jesus Christ, like, seriously, this guy just went to Twitter and said, yeah, there's thieves, racists, and misogynists in comics. Hey, listen, Arcudi, why don't you give us some details? No, I need to respect privacy. So you were just signaling it out to the ether to let everyone know you were down?
Yes.
Fuck you.
Not only is this a virtue signal, but this is what I call the Mr. Mystery complex. Like, I know things, man. I know things.
Trust
it's sort of
me,
like
I know it.
Yeah, conspiracy theorists usually do this, but you're starting to see a lot more of this with like the Kick Vic crowd that are all like, "Oh man, we got evidence, man," but they won't ever show you anything.
Yeah,
This guy's doing the
Ron
exact
Toy
same
on his
thing.
return to Twitter did that a lot over the past few days. Keeps talking about all the evidence he's going to release in the defamation and tortious interference without a contract suit that he's currently involved in. When we release the evidence, everything will be known. We know, we just don't want to do it on social media because everything you've done up until now hasn't been on social media, huh? I mean, you got Nick Minonia's career destroyed on social media, but now all of a sudden we need to do it through proper channels. Okay. Yeah, no, that's a good point. You know, that I'm a guy in the know and I don't want to tell you what I know, just I know.
Yeah, see, Ryan Walters nailed it. He knows what I'm talking about. I've seen some things, man. Yeah, they always do shit like that. That's exactly what this guy's doing.
Yeah.
He's trying to drum up a little bit of publicity for himself and at the same time look like he knows stuff.
I say I'm starting to get in flashbacks of this is the beginning of our story. All right, so we've got things that this dude wrote. He wrote Silver Sable number 26. He wrote Predator Big Game 1 through 4, The Mask, Martian Manhunter Volume 2, issue number 5.
So he's a fill-in guy.
Yeah, he does like 1 or 2 issues of things. Hellboy Weird Tales number 4, Abe Sapien, star of the BPRD. Yeah. Gen 13 25 through 40, Gen 13 Carney Folk number 1. Excalibur 104 and 105.
Oh, that was long after it had become a sad echo of its former self. Yeah.
Barbed Wire 1 through 8.
The Pamela Anderson thing?
Yep.
Wow.
You know that Stan Lee created Barbed Wire, right?
Yeah, and Stripperella, he had his weird moments.
Yep. He wrote Batman Legends of the Dark Knight 162 and 163.
Well, at least they were back to back.
Yeah. Well, see, it's so funny because like he just seems to be a fill-in. Like he'll write 1 or 2 issues and then be done.
Yeah, but like we were saying earlier, it doesn't, like, those numbers you were saying don't surprise me. The limited numbers you were saying don't surprise me because long runs are rare as fuck, which is why I was unsurprised that Tom King was saying on Twitter today when talking about it that I've got some other works on the go and etc. And it's like, oh, I have no doubt he's not disappearing from comics, Tom King. He's probably got like 3 or 4 things like on the back burner that he's just, they're going to be in development now. Tom King's going to be writing all kinds of shit for years and years and years into the future. No fucking way. It doesn't matter if he's a kiss of death for sales for an issue. He wrote for Batman Forever and a Day, and people thought what he was doing was deep. That's his ticket to ride, man.
Yeah, and he's still got a contract with DC, so they can't get rid of him yet.
Yeah.
But if they take him off Batman, I think that's a good step in the right direction. Put him on some third string title no one cares about.
I like Ryan Walters here. He should write The Question. It'd be right up his alley.
I like The Question. Shut up.
But The Question's all about conspiracy theories, man.
Yeah.
Well, and he knows things, man.
They're thieves and misogynists in the Justice League, man.
Okay. You know how, like, you look at a picture and it's like, let's come up with a caption for it, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's look at a picture and we'll do a thought bubble. This is what's going through this man's mind.
Is this a new segment we're doing?
Yeah, why not?
Good idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I just found a picture that I really like that's related to the story that we're doing next. And I thought, let's do, if he had a thought bubble, it would say, okay, here it is. If this man had a thought bubble, it would probably say, okay, I've lost all my hair. People liked me a lot more when I was younger and I'm kind of fat now. But hey, I can virtue signal, talk about deep things on Twitter. People will think I'm cool. Yeah, that's it. I'll talk bad about Trump. That's what I think he's thinking.
That thought bubble is way too big. I was thinking, was that a fart or did I just shart?
Okay, you want to totally, Jack? What's your thought bubble say?
I never should have quit Ghost Hunters. Because he looks just like the guy from Ghost Hunters.
Possibly could be simply as short as, God, I miss my hair.
He just looks
Polly's racist against bald people. We get it. Okay.
Yeah, geez, Polly.
Oh, no, hey, listen. It's somebody who loses their hair ain't got nothing to do with nothing. You take a look at Bruce Willis. That guy's got swagger for days, and he's been bald for fucking years. It's when you overcompensate in other directions when you're bald, it makes it look like you've got a small dick and now you're bald, and so you're gonna buy a sports car and talk big.
Yeah,
you know,
he does look like.
Leave my Lamborghini out of this.
Ryan Walters asked, "Is his name Senor Clean?" That's the off-brand.
So let's see what this is actually related to. It's I forget. Bounding in a Comics story. DC Comics Supergirl writer Mark Andreyko. He's, quote, disappointed and sickened by white men and the 54% of college-educated white women who voted for Trump. Wow, I was pretty close. That's not bad. That's not bad. And he also misses his hair.
Well, I think both of you are right because he's talking shit right there. So
DC Comics, blah blah blah. Okay, that's just repeating a headline.
He looks like he's on his third marriage.
Yes, he does. Who said that? Ryan Walters. Nice. He does. He's passing his third wife on the downslope of a marriage. That's holy shit, man.
Better each time.
No offense to anyone who's been divorced. That's not what we're joking about. We're making fun of this guy, not you.
This is Kyle says the white men, the worst kind.
I know. And Draco made his comments on Facebook during a discussion surrounding the recent abortion laws in Alabama and Georgia. Comic book people, they are more than anything the reason I keep saying the internet was a mistake. I had no idea that so many writers and editors and artists were so damaged and angry. I had no idea.
Creative people tend to be kind of a little different to begin with, but wow, these people are insane and they're insufferable about telling you about politics.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
The discussion eventually saw two users blaming men for what they viewed as an attack upon the current Roe v. Wade Supreme Court decisions. And Draco initially weighed in to dispute the generalization being made that men are bad. Okay. And Draco wrote, wait a minute, sick. You were complaining about the South and Midwest being generalized, and then you talk about all men being bad? Huh? Well, it's okay. I'm curious to see where this goes from here. However, and Draco would quickly be criticized. One person told him there's a difference between people making jokes about people from Alabama and, quote, people about to lose their reproductive rights. Facing the criticism, and Draco would respond by writing, oh, I am incredibly disappointed and sickened by white men and the 54% of college-educated white women, well, just disappointed in them, who voted for Trump. This insane attack of Roe v. Wade is despicable and will cost lives. Wait a minute. What connect these two?
Where's my bell?
Cost lives by what? Coat hangers?
Connect to the first one. These people, white men, and 54% of college-educated white women who voted for Trump. This insane attack on Roe v. Wade is despicable. Trump didn't cause that. What are you talking about?
Oh, he caused everything, Polly. See, Trump has a secret TARDIS somewhere, so he can go back in time and create problems.
This is weird. Yeah, so anyway, rambly. And Draco's comments are the latest in a string from DC Comics and Vertigo creators. Oh, this should be fun. Vertigo Comics creator. Oh, God, Zoe Quinn. I hate that we have to call her that now.
Vertigo Comics, Zoe Quinn? Yeah.
Yeah, like she's a Vertigo Comics writer. Now, why don't we just call her what she is? Zoe Quinn, Five Guys girl, called Republicans evil and stupid last year in Vertigo Comics. Ramon Villalobos. Wait a minute, isn't he the grabby sexual assaulter alleged guy?
That was Esquivel.
That was Esquivel. So who's Ramon Villalobos?
So. That's Butthole.
That's the Butthole guy.
Oh, that's the guy who... Yeah, guys, it's for chat for those of you who don't know. That's the guy who tweeted a picture of his own asshole to Ethan Van Sciver to say, fuck you. And was applauded for doing so because you can't, quote, talk to these unreasonable people anymore. I'm glad somebody finally did what was right, etc. That was all the stuff going around. And was he kicked off of Twitter for tweeting a picture of his asshole at somebody? No.
Nope.
No, that's not targeted harassment at all. And all the people who retweeted it at Ethan Van Sciver after the fact, they were fine. No problem.
Well, buttholes kind of look like a target.
Well, yeah. So Ramon Villalobos stated we should put white people in FEMA camps. Oh, that's clever. In fact, he admitted that Twitter had removed a number of his tweets for being anti-white. He justified the tweets claiming they were all jokes. Of course.
Were they?
Yeah. Vertigo Comics writer Rob Sheridan attacked Michael Knowles and Ben Shapiro. He called Michael Knowles a gaslighting, racist dick stain. He would then tell him to shoot yourself into the sun. He would then question, does Ben Shapiro have a whole stable full of little white racist elf boys who go around spreading hateful bullshit to scared losers for money? He would then go on to state that Trump supporters are promoting ethnic cleansing and vile racist authoritarian policies. See what I'm saying? Like, it's not that the internet was a mistake. It's finding out that so many of these people are so incredibly damaged that they just barf this madness online. And these are the people, by the way, who are constantly making use of phrases like toxicity and toxic this and toxic that. And it's like, what do you call this poisonous crap that you spew out? They're the ones who are bad. I'm just calling it like it is, I guess.
Polly,
Right.
it's only toxic when someone else does it. It's okay when they do it. Hi, Johnny. Mike pointed out that it's not called a butthole quiz; it's a Gwen hole.
Yeah, good point.
Oh, it wasn't Ramon Villalobos who tweeted. There it is. Vertigo Comics artist Robbie Rodriguez. Yeah, okay, there it is. Like you said.
Oh, it was Robbie Rodriguez.
Yeah, barely tweeted out bizarrely tweeted out 2 graphic images depicting close-ups of an uncensored male anus to former DC Comics artist Ethan Van Scott.
Well, who the hell is Villalobos then?
Ramon Villalobos are you sure that he isn't the guy he's the artist for
Goddess
Border
Mode?
Town, for Border Town, isn't he?
I don't know.
He's the guy that Border Town got canceled over because he was the guy that was like Mr. Sexual Assaulter allegedly.
No, I think that was Eric Esquivel.
Okay, so all right, that was Esquivel. So then who was
Esquivel was the writer, wasn't it? So
yeah,
Villalobos was the artist.
Yeah, it must be the artist. So he didn't do anything that we know of. Sorry, we got that one wrong.
Huh.
Don't want him coming after us. But
well, it says something when you lose track of what creepy weirdo did what creepy weird thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, they all blur together after a while.
Yeah.
So what?
Sorry, Villalobos. As far as we know, you haven't done anything super creepy yet.
So I can't go super long tonight, gentlemen. What for streaming? What would you like to cover next? Which franchise would you like to cover next? Ghostbusters, really quickly, or Star Wars, not so quickly?
Let's do Ghostbusters.
Want to do Ghostbusters? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Ghostbusters. Bill Murray is willing to appear in the new film, even though he's really, really old.
He's in a new zombie movie.
Don't get me wrong, I love me some Bill Murray. It's just, anyway. Director Jason Reitman actually announced earlier this year that he would be directing Ghostbusters 3, the franchise his late father, Harold Ramis, rest in peace, helped create in 1984. I miss me some Egon, man. Fuck, he was a brilliant comedian and writer, that guy.
He was.
Stripes is one of my favorites.
Yeah. Oh, God. How about Groundhog Day?
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people realize that he didn't just direct that. He wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking brilliant mind, that guy. Sad. Anyway, now one former star of the series has revealed that he would be more than happy to return to the series. Despite years of reluctance, Bill Murray seems to have decided that he'll be willing to return to the Ghostbusters film. IndieWire reports that Murray, CBR didn't get an original? Shocker. Reports that Murray was asked about the project during an interview at the Cannes Film Festival. While Murray was promoting his role in Jim Jarmusch's The Dead Don't Die, he talked about his cameo in the 2016 Ghostbusters. Oh, God. What did he say? I was just in that movie because they asked me. And I knew if I said no, I was saying I don't support that movie. I felt like, okay, I'm going to support them because I support them as people, Murray said. So I did that one, and I would do this next one. Murray also looked fondly back on his time making the original Ghostbusters. We made this thing. We are caretakers of it. It's a great thing, and it was a really fun movie to make, he said. It's a movie with some really, really funny stuff in it. Yeah, well, he's not wrong there, but
I think the X factor for that is going to be Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd's all about it. That's the Ghostbusters 3. Yeah, he's all about it.
I'll say because Dan Aykroyd's kind of retired. He hasn't been in a movie in forever. He was trying to sell his vodka.
That's true.
I've heard that's good vodka, by the way.
It's not. It's garbage.
No, that's not true. I've actually personally had it. It's fine.
I have 2 bottles. It's only good for the bottle.
That's why most people did buy it, was for the bottle. For those of you who don't know, Crystal Skull vodka, it comes in like a crystal skull, and people are fascinated with skulls for some reason. So weirdos like Quiz buy it and put it in their altars or whatever they do.
Yeah.
Well, what was... Oh, I have a super quick story that I wanted to cover. And when I say quick, I mean super quick. Mary Sue, right? Remember I told you guys before we went live, I had one Mary Sue article that I didn't even want to cover. I just wanted to point out how bad the headline was because fuck these people.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is. Daily Mail journalist tried to mock a teen girl for her thoughtful words about Elizabeth Warren, and it did not go well for him.
Oh, may I reread that for you? Daily Mail journalist tried to mock a teen girl for her thoughts about Elizabeth Warren, and it did not go well for him.
Fuck these people.
Go fuck yourself, Vivian Kane.
I don't want to talk about the story. I don't even care because I mean it's not comics related. It's Mary Sue. Fuck them. But for that headline alone, where's your dignity?
Men bad, women weak, Polly.
It actually has comma in the middle of their headline.
At least it's kind of grammatically correct.
No, it's not. Where's the period?
I said kind of because the like is properly commaed, but
and they went ampersand. They couldn't even put AND there.
Well, they're not smart, Polly. They have tiny cat brains because these are actual cats writing these articles.
Good God. That's all I wanted to talk about was just fuck them. Like these people are they're just awful. Anyway,
can I point out the next 6 minutes said Dan Aykroyd in the vodka of the Crystal Skull?
I'd see that movie.
Yeah, that sounds actually fun.
So
he needs to get what's his name, John Cusack in it to be his the Nazi running around trying to stop him.
Yeah.
do the table flip on Grosse Point Blank.
Nice.
Oh, real quick. Thousands petition Marvel to cast Danny DeVito as Wolverine.
Oh, God.
Now,
I'm all about it.
Yeah, so am I. And yes, it was, for those of you who want to know, a change.org petition. Super effective.
More proof that change.org is stupid and it doesn't change anything. Your signatures mean nothing on change.org.
Yeah, what they should have done is petition the White House to comment on Danny DeVito being cast as Wolverine. They could have got more signatures that way.
Yes.
No kidding. I will say this, that like
boy.
A lot of people who aren't like longtime readers of comics or especially X-Comics Wolverine stuff don't realize how short and hairy Wolverine Logan is supposed to be.
Yeah, he's 5'2".
Yeah, he's a tiny little guy. And he's a hairy dude, and he's got like he's kind of got like a hunchback. He's like a little gnome guy, or a little troll dude. Like that's who his character is, and that's kind of like what makes him likable. He's such an incredibly tough guy in this really small, weird package. Danny DeVito is. I know it might sound like an odd claim, but this is an old joke that Danny DeVito is like the only actor out there who could like kind of come close to playing an actual Logan. Don't get me wrong. I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but he's tall and kind of handsome and not nearly hairy enough.
Yeah. I would say the problem arises with the fact that when you were, listing off all those things, when you got to tough, I'm all like, oh man, Keemstar could have played that. And then you said tough, and I'm like, oh, that just ruined it. Oh.
Wow, cheap shot at Keemstar.
Fuck Keemstar.
What I would really like to see now that this petition actually exists is for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia to have the characters make an X-Men movie and have Danny DeVito's character Frank Reynolds play Wolverine, just like they did with the Lethal Weapon movies.
No.
That
Ryan Walters hit the nail right on the head. Danny DeVito should play MODOK.
His head's too small.
Well, they just blew it up with CGI.
Oh yeah, you could. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
they're going to need to do that with the rest of his body anyway. So,
well, just for reference, I don't know if anybody here watches Comic Book Girl 19 before she moved largely over to Twitch like 6 months ago, but she's had a pretty long-standing comic series on YouTube. I remember her saying this like 2 years ago. She's a huge X-Men fan. She goes, the best person to play Logan would be Danny DeVito, hands down. Like I say, this is a really old joke, and not even a joke, really old line idea. Because how many short, furry actors are there out there? Really, not many. They're always picking male models and shit. You can't get a Chris Hemsworth, giant hulking model dude to play who's supposed to be this little tough warrior who's been through everything, right?
Nah, they're going to end up doing what they did in Lord of the Rings and taking larger people and digitally shrinking them down.
No, that's not what they did in Lord of the Rings. Not at all.
It is. All those people are giants. They're all like 6 foot tall. Elijah Wood, really a 7 foot tall basketball player.
Every shot that had a hobbit or a dwarf in it was like when they were supposed to be the actors was shot up close, because John Rhys Davies is a fucking giant. That dude's like seriously, legitimately almost like 7 feet tall. He's huge.
Seriously?
But he was a dwarf. So anytime that John Rhys Davies had to act, they would bring the camera in way up close. But then whenever he needed to do actiony things, they got a little person to do actiony things from far away so that you couldn't tell it wasn't John Rhys Davies.
Really? I thought they just digitally shrank them.
No, that's exactly how they did everything in that movie.
Huh.
And so if you look really, 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 really closely, every wide panel shot where you get to see a whole body shot of the hobbits, none of them look like the actors.
Wow. I haven't watched those in ages, so I guess you're right. But to quote Mike here, floppy wiener. I don't know what that's about, but I'm just going with it.
Well, let's leave the floppy wieners out of it. And Quiz, thank you for spoiling the mystique of those films for me.
But no,
you didn't even like him anyway.
To stay on topic, Danny DeVito is a very good actor, and I think he's very underrated because he mostly works in comedy. So I would actually say that he has the acting ability to play Wolverine. He just doesn't have the physique of Wolverine.
Yeah, you can see his tiny little pipe cleaner arms here. That's yeah.
I actually saw the very first thing that Danny DeVito was ever in. It was a student film for college. He was in New York at the time. I can't remember if he went to Juilliard or not, but yeah, he was in a short film. The premise of it is that like we're talking like 20-year-old Danny DeVito. And the premise of it was that he said that the tragedies, getting photos of tragedies is always like really, really big business. And this is like, this is back in the 70s, 60s, well, yeah, probably late 60s, early 70s. He was talking about 9/11 was a long way away, but he was talking about how tragedy, getting photos of tragedies is always, really big, big business. You make a lot of money off of the photo, and then you become famous. So everyone's going to want you to, get more photos. And he was a photographer. So he planted a bunch of explosives in the Statue of Liberty and got the perfect vantage point. And when he told his roommate what he was doing, his roommate was flipping out and trying to stop him. And because of the fight that ensues, he misses the shot. And that's how the short film ends. It's really, really funny and really good. But it's like one of those things where it's like you're not sure if you should be laughing or if you should be, really worried, in that like it's supposed to be a drama or a comedy, but it ends up being a comedy of errors. But yeah, it was a really good short film.
All right. Moving on to the stairwares.
Fucking stairwares.
I'm reluctant to do this. Oh well. So here's CBR. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker photo offers a first look at Luke. All right. Okay. All right.
Isn't Luke supposed to be dead?
Yeah. Well, you didn't see the movie. You don't get to offer comments.
I saw that scene where he fades away.
He faded away. That doesn't necessarily mean he died.
Yeah, he could have just, I don't know, went for an astral vacation or something.
So when Ben Kenobi dies.
See, why I'm reluctant to talk about this is that this is CBR shilling off of this. I just wanted to put that one picture up there to introduce the idea. So this is going on over at Vanity Fair. Now, Vanity Fair, bastards that they are here's the okay, fuck Vanity Fair. That's the summation of my whole point here. Fuck them. Why? Because they are the height of what's wrong with the industry. They're not creative in any way. They just hang around people that are creative, and there's a lot of money to be had because a lot of individual people, like you, me, everyone else, are going to go buy our tickets. Because we're going to go buy our tickets and buy merch, there's a lot of money floating around. And whenever there's a lot of money floating around, the fucking vampire leeches show up, like Vanity Fair. And they cover celebrities and talk about who they're dating and any other thing. And this article on its own, this multiple variant cover issue of Vanity Fair, is such a great example of celebrity culture and how people that are in the Star Wars fandom or the comic book fandom or whatever need to come to realize that whenever anything gets big enough, like mainstream enough, that there's enough money involved, there's going to be enough vampire blood suckers that have come in and gotten involved that they own it now and it's no longer yours. Stop complaining about, well, this isn't the true fandom. The stories aren't there. Star Wars was dead as soon as Disney bought it. We just didn't realize it.
Yeah. Say, you know what the remedy to that is, and I really wish more people would take this into consideration, is cold turkey, straight up, get rid of it. Just drop it. Stop going to the movies. Stop supporting the movies that you don't like. You don't like the way the Star Wars movies are going? Don't go see them. Period. If there's enough people that don't go see those movies, they'll get the point. And if you sit there and say, well, I can't talk about it if I don't see the movie, you're right, okay? Contempt prior to investigation. But you know what you can do? Say, that movie didn't look good. I've heard that other people say that this movie isn't very good. It's not going to be something that I want to give my money for or give my money to, and don't go see it.
Well,
it works for me.
I hear you. Like, it's, you know, if you're a fan of, like, you know, the Skywalker family saga and the Star Wars universe and all of the things like our buddy Zelthor is, you know, you want to read the comics and you want to watch the animated series and stuff like that. But as soon as it makes enough money, that's when the blood-sucking vampire pimps show up. Wow, that's something that needs to be in a... I want to see someone Photoshop up a blood-sucking vampire pimp. Huh. I was kind of a mental image of what that would look like. Made me kind of laugh. Anyway, like Vanity Fair, it's like, well, this is the biggest promotion that we can get, and it's the highest class celebrity culture magazine that we can possibly get. That's how they released the original photo. Like, here's all the people from Solo, and here's the first look on the cover of The Force Awakens. Vanity Fair is their go-to for this. And it's at that level where don't be surprised that it turns into a bunch of fuckery where Kathleen Kennedy fucks it right in the ass because she's part of that group of blood-sucking vampire pimps. She's the queen of them.
Yeah.
You know, you think she's got a creative bone in her body? She doesn't.
By the way, this is what first came up when I Googled vampire pimp.
Well, let me see.
This is the first image.
Nice.
Wow.
Those some nice grills.
I say he's got a little bit of a walleye going on here.
So all I really want to do is, like, I've read through this article, and trust me, guys, it's fucking meaningless. There's like, in the long and storied history of Star Wars, going back years, and we all really care about the characters, and we know that the fans are, and we've worked really hard, and everyone is so talented, and like, it just, what are you fucking talking about? It's like a computer wrote this.
No. It's I'm surprised they were able to actually, put any keystrokes in while they were stroking something else.
So the only thing that makes it worthwhile is just like, let's take a look at some of the fucking pictures. There's the two Vanity Fair covers. Yay. The crash and burn of Michael Avenatti. Hey, why don't we go back in Vanity Fair and hear about how you were championing this guy because he was going to bring down Trump, you bunch of fucking scumbag pimps. Anyway, moving on. So here they are. More desert scenes. There's J.J. Abrams himself orchestrating the mess that will be the end to this necroticizing series. Oh, here's the new smuggler villain, and her name is what was it? What Bliss? Her name is Zori Bliss.
It's not a Star Wars name.
What are you talking? It's a woman, okay? You misogynist. It's Zori Bliss. She's woke. So anyway, she's got this long helmet.
Sounds
like
meshy, and she needs to be purged.
Yes. This is where she keeps her bundle of hair, I guess, or her cooling unit. I don't know. So anyway, that's Zori Bliss. And everyone.
Oh, you think she's a robot?
No, I don't think she's a robot at all. She probably gets hot in the cockpit where she sits, and so she needs this.
She needs a helmet to contain all her wokeness.
Since her she has two pistols that have that are low slung and leg strapped, but they're reverse facing. I'm going to take a guess right now that there's some really stupid point in the movie where she cross arm reaches and grabs the pistols and pulls them out and blows 2 people away. And some some incompetent male will be standing there going, "Oh my God, I could have never done that. You're so competent." Just my suggestion.
I would be willing to bet that half of her head is shaved and she has dyed hair, and she is clearly a strong, independent woman that don't need no man.
Don't need no man.
So yeah, scrolling along. So here's General Hawk, and what's the other commander's name? General Pride. Because don't all those white cis males have too much pride? He's General Pride.
And the hawk is a representation of a bird, and we hate birds too. I don't know.
It's Hux, actually. And do I need to go and find my Theo Huxtable?
No, you don't.
I'm going to do it.
The problem with Theo Huxtable is that Theo Huxtable was a black male, and these are villains. So they're white men with English accents, you see.
So they're appropriating his culture.
Yeah.
Look, a Mandalorian stripper.
It is the queen vampire succubus pimp herself, Kathleen Kennedy, hanging out on the set. She has nothing to do there. She's not a creative person at all, but she'll show up and say, "Hey, the Force is female. You got enough women in this?" I know I'm sounding real black pill, but I'm like, tell me I'm wrong.
No, take another dose, because she's probably there to complain.
So I was just joking before, right? I was telling jokes before, but it's like, this trilogy is about this young generation, this new generation, having to deal with all the debt that has come before. Speaking to millennials. Like, these are meaningless statements. It's like, at first blush, Abrams' debut Star Wars movie, The Force Awakens, looked like an elaborate homage to the original. Just like in A New Hope, there's a young Force sense. Like, I've read through this article. It just says nothing over and over and over. This is just pimp-ass advertising just to promote.
Homage? There was no homage.
Yeah.
He copied A New Hope from, like, beginning to end. It was every beat of the goddamn story was exactly the same.
Except for the fact that Daisy Ridley's standing here. You might think this was from A New Hope. Look, desert scene. They're on Tatooine, but not. Oh, yeah, here's what's his name walking up from the back,
Polly,
actually. So.
I would think this is from The Phantom Menace.
Yeah, good point.
Because it doesn't look
Chewbacca.
good.
It's Chewbacca. So
Chewbacca just wandered onto set, and they're like, click. We're recapturing the Jar Jar-ness of it. Bring some pogs on here, whatever those things were called.
Porgs.
Pogs.
Yeah, well, it was something retarded. I knew that.
So they're buffing up C3PO here, because dust. It happens.
Wiping spooge off his face.
So here's the woke Wakandan warrior that's riding along with Finn here on horseback as they shoot bows and arrows.
Why do you? That didn't make any sense in Return of the Jedi, and I liked Return of the Jedi. How effective is bow and arrow going to be against armor? It's not going to be. Where's your gun, you dumb fucking...
It's a laser arrow, man.
It's not. It's not.
Finn and new ally, Janna. I'm sure that'll sell a lot of action figures. Atop Hardy or Bax. Lead into charge. Yeah, fuck, whatever.
I say, is she going to be joining my Rose Tico up on my shelf up here?
Yes.
In your collection of shame.
So that
I'm surprised.
I'm surprised that they didn't make this into a cover of one of the Vanity Fair issues.
Didn't they? I thought they did.
Previously, this is not the same picture, man.
Oh well, I thought that there was one where it had Billy D in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon on a Vanity Fair.
Really?
Yeah.
God.
Let's see if I can
I'm just looking for the woke feminist droid.
She's been built into the computer system.
So what you're saying
inside her, Jack.
Yeah. So did they get consent to penetrate her cockpit?
I see what you did there.
Well, they need to ask.
Mike said the same thing. What the hell is in the middle of the cockpit there?
Okay. Do you think there's enough color in this picture?
No.
I think they all need burqas.
Oh, dude. No, you know what that looks like? It looks like all of the merry men dressed up as women to watch Robin do the archery contest with the other guy in Robin Hood Men in Tights. just before they take off their lady disguises and like go and get all of the rest of the merry men to come and fight Little John or John King Richard.
Okay then.
How
John
long
Williams,
has it been since you've seen Robin Hood Men in Tights? Come on.
3-4 years.
Well, you need to go back and watch it.
All right. John Williams conducting again, and then the Riesel. Okay, there. Oh my God, it's an actually cool picture.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, that's
awesome.
actually cool looking. The sad thing is the soundtrack's probably going to be the best part of this movie.
Yeah. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. If you haven't given the John Williams soundtrack to Force Awakens a listen, you really should. John Williams, who had been repeating himself again and again for years, like really came out swinging on that one. It is an outstanding score. Fuck, it's good. So I hope he does it again, man, for this one. Really looking forward to it. And I don't know. It's like Mark Hamill is Luke with R2-D2. Speculation is rampant about who will, quote, rise as the Skywalker's movie title.
No one. I wouldn't rise even if he slipped Viagra into my drink.
Wait, Mike Parletti had a great comment. Luke wrapped up in a fire blanket. The dumpster fire.
Well, we'll see what'll happen. I mean, you got such brief interaction between R2 and Luke Skywalker, none between Han and Luke Skywalker. It makes me kind of wish in the last movie, in Last Jedi, kind of makes me hope that there is something that actually has some sort of meaningful send-off for this whole thing. If you ask me, this is probably going to be like the last shot of the movie where Skywalker's not in the whole thing. And then like after all of the woke characters and the whammons have done everything, the Luke will be standing there and go, "We've obviously passed it along to the right people, and now all the white men like me can just die," and he fades away.
Yeah.
So wait, did Girl Nazi ever take off her helmet?
I don't know who you're talking about. Oh, who, the one in all the silver?
Girl Nazi, yeah.
Yeah. The one in the chrome stormtrooper.
No,
I'm trying to remember
or Phasma, whatever her name is.
Phantasma. She didn't take it.
Menace.
She didn't take it off, but after a fight with Finn, who beat the ever living hell out of her. Of course he did. Her helmet is cracked and smashed, so you do see like part of her face before she falls to her apparent death. So yeah, you kind of see part of her face in her eye, but that's it. But no, she never took her helmet off.
She didn't fall to her death. She converted back into a tiny ball and went flying into the hand of the tall man, and he was like, "Boy!"
I gotta say, man, she don't look too good. I'm just saying.
That's a unattractive assortment of folk.
Yeah, I'm just saying she's not a very attractive woman.
So I don't know. I know my rendition on this stuff has been pretty black pill, but it's like, I don't know, Star Wars, Lucasfilm, I should say, you're run by an idiot, Kathleen Kennedy, who thinks she can do no wrong. And even though her decisions ended up tanking one of the most easily profitable franchises ever, like, how do you fuck up something that profitable that bad? I don't know. Go ask Kathleen Kennedy.
I wonder if it weren't just the fact that they had a terminal case of upper management. Like someone handed down the fact that they said, "Okay, we've got this property. There's all of these books and comics and stuff like that written already there by right, of us owning Lucasfilm. We have all that now. Nuke everything and start all over." That sounds to me like a terminal case of upper management.
Well, anything that's being directed poorly from the top down is not going to go well. And I don't know. I think I think they just made wrong step after wrong step. And it's, when you take a look at Marvel, right? the MCU films, we can agree and disagree with what they took from the comics and what they didn't. And you know what I'm saying? But it's all, the point is, it is all taken from the comics. It's a series of already storyboarded storylines for you to go through and pick and choose what you will. And sometimes that's good, and sometimes that's bad. When you get over to Star Wars, it's like, no, fuck the entire expanded universe. Fuck all the comics. Fuck the animated series. We're just going to go for broke and kind of do our own thing. And why? Why aren't you lifting out of this wealth of fucking material that you have?
Yeah.
Because you can pick and choose and rearrange like Lego pieces at will. It's what they did for the MCU.
Because the message was more important than the quality. They wanted to send a message to the audience, and that is that they're woke.
Yeah.
So Kathleen Kennedy said, hey, we can redo episode 4, but with a strong female lead. And I think that she's the top-down person that had that much influence because she had an agenda to push.
It could be, yeah. I mean, see, that's the thing is like, a lot of people always love to bandy about the books as being the logical next step in the Star Wars story from the original movies, the original trilogy of the movies. And I don't disagree with that, but at the same time, that's not what they did. And since that isn't what they did, what did they do? And you can only look at that and try to speculate and why they actually did that. Because, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me about that, other than the fact that they would have to pay someone that they have absolutely no idea, they're who they are. They don't know them from Adam, to pay them royalties for using their books, and they don't want to do that. They would rather do it in-house, and if they did it in-house, they ruined it, which they obviously did. So I don't know. It just seems like everyone's making the wrong choice when it comes to stairwares, and have been for a really long time.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they've got a bad case of lack of originality and creativity, and they refuse to accept that and try and go in a different direction. Than they just keep doing the same thing over and over again, and it's not working.
See, okay, Frosted Glass said, any hope for the Mandalorian series? Frosted, the one thing you got to know about me, I have gone out of my way to try and avoid anything Star Wars since Phantom Menace. Right? I've caught episodes of Clone Wars because it was coming on either before something I wanted to watch or came on immediately after, so on and so forth. That's meh. I have seen The Force Awakens mainly because I was a captive audience. I went over to a friend's house, they had it on, and I couldn't leave. Talk about squirming in agony for 2 hours. I actively avoid Star Wars if at all possible, and no, there's no hope for Mandalorian. I haven't had hope for Star Wars since Phantom Menace. It's been dead, like Milkman Dan just said. It's been dead to me since Phantom Menace.
I'm kind of in some agreement there. I did like the prequels more than most people because I like those old serials, but I don't know. I don't have any faith that Disney has figured out how to do Star Wars in any respect, even just universe stories with any degree of accuracy. I don't think they can do a good story with Star Wars. I have no faith in them anymore.
Well, I think that brings us to the end of our show, gentlemen. It's pitch time. Who would like to go first?
I can go first.
Yeah? Okay. Let me just go ahead and present you. There you are.
All right. I'm going to... This is a bit of a cheat, so I'm going to do a second one if that's okay. But I got this today as a gift from a guy at the comic shop. It's Batman Noir Gotham by Gaslight. I know Gotham by Gaslight was already pitched, but I wanted to show you this, Polly.
And I already pitched Spider-Man Noir, so God, you're just ripping us all off, man. Shit.
Yeah. So it's kind of the best of both. But it's
no,
Batman.
go ahead. I want to hear about this.
It's Gotham by Gaslight, but in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
and it really brings out Mike Mignolia's inking ability because he does all these heavy blacks. He does this with Hellboy too, and it changes the look of the book so much that I think it makes it look a little creepy. But it's both Master of the Future and Gotham by Gaslight. And that I just picture that being Tom King right there. But look at the way the darks contrast so well with the white. It just looks beautiful to me.
Yeah.
And it's a hardcover book. It's just so beautiful.
Oh, it was such a good fight scene too.
Yeah,
all of the noirs that are released as well. I think some people fail to realize what's going on with them. Like, this is one of them, one of the noir black and white comics that was released, but they're not just desaturating the comic. They've gone through and redone it again, so it's in blacks. Do you know what I mean? And you're right. It looks great. It's not just a color removed edition. It's a re-inked edition, and fuck yeah, that looks great. That's one I do not have a copy of, but hell yeah.
Well, I just got it in hardcover. It just came out like a week ago, and the comic shop guy gave it to me as a gift because I spent so much money or something. I don't know.
I don't have that. Jealous.
Don't be. I spend way too much money. But the other one I'm going to pitch is radically rearranged Ronin ragdolls. Now,
really?
It says it's by Shane and Paul Bookman, but you'll be pleasantly surprised to know that this was put out by Kevin Eastman Studios.
Of course.
And the story is by Kevin Eastman and David Avallone. And the layouts were done by Eastman too. So that's why they have the cover. But it's about a trio of cats.
Well,
they're called the Ragdolls.
But they're not ragdolls, they're cats.
Well, ragdoll is apparently a term for stray cat of some kind.
Oh.
I'd never heard this before, but they call themselves the Ragdolls. And they have a very similar origin to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but it's obviously a parody. But they were fed this serum by a guy named Steranko who looks vaguely like Nick Fury. Get it? Because Jim Steranko drew Nick Fury.
Uh-huh.
And they go out and they end up rescuing this kid's name's Kirby. But their origin story is retold to him. And it's very fun because they kind of send up the TMT a little bit. But it's actually a really fun comic. They all have different weapons, of course. We've got one big sword here and two straight swords, and then this one's got size. But this cat speaks in haikus. And it was just a fun adventure story. I had a blast reading it. I was shocked by how fun it was because it really has that old 80s comic feel to it. So if you like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I mean, look, this is their room, their headquarters. There's a scratching post. And there's a big bed up here. There's a little bed up here. I thought it was fun. It's
Tommy mats too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just silly. It's the Catwoman poster on the wall. But yeah, I had a blast reading it. I thought it was a lot of fun. And they fight against the Dogs of War, led by the Overdog.
Jesus.
They're cats. Get it? But the art's good. It was a fun story. It's only $3.99. I don't know if it's going to be an ongoing series or not. Probably not. But I would buy it. I had a blast reading it. It was a good throwback book, and I'd like to see them do more of it.
I mean, the one that speaks in haikus, though, I mean, you would think that if they're that well educated, that they could, go and find a master to serve. I mean,
they had a master. See, there was a couple, an Asian couple, Japanese, of course, that ran Tiger's Sushi. And he was unfortunately killed by the Dogs of War. So that's part of their origin story, is they're adopted by this couple and sort of raised there. They've been there for a few years. And then the guy is killed by these Dogs of War. So that's what their whole shtick is, that they're out to get revenge. It's basically the Shredder storyline from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But I thought it was fun. I wanted to tell you guys about it because I picked it up today. And I was really excited to get it because it's like, this is going to be so bad. And then I saw Kevin Eastman wrote it, and I was like, oh, he's parodying himself. That takes a good sense of humor. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a good time reading it.
I don't know. I'm such a fan of I don't know. I need some more comics humor in my life. I might give that a read. What the fuck?
Yeah, right.
I like that as a pitch. Why not? Okay, Quiz, what do you have for us? Who would you like me to go?
Well, mine's a little humorous, but also a little dour too. I'm just saying. Script by Alex DeCampi, pencils by Fernando Ruiz, inks by Rich Kolowski, colors Jason Millett. My pitch is going to be Archie versus Predator.
I hope it has some comedy. Fuck.
First of all, the premise is just absolutely, brilliant. But you got the physical comedy in it. You got all of the oh god, what's the name of their place again?
Riverdale.
Riverdale. The whole Riverdale High crew going on a vacation to like this beach. And Veronica and Betty are trying to win Archie's attention, and then the Predator lands in the jungle, and the entire series, it's a 4-issue limited run, but the entire series is a comedy of errors when all of the characters haphazardly pick up what could be misconstrued as a lethal weapon, and the Predator just murders them. So you got Veronica and Betty getting into a fight, and Veronica breaks Betty's nose, and then Betty Betty finds this knife out in the middle of the wilderness, and she runs back, and everyone finds Betty, and they're all talking about how they need to get the knife and bring it back to the souvenir, and making sure she's okay. And then there's the Predator right there dripping blood onto people.
And there's really a sequel coming out.
There is a sequel coming out. Jack just told me about that, and that sounds awesome. I won't give away how it ends because it ends really, really good, but I will show the cover of issue 4 because it's awesome. I absolutely love this cover.
Nice.
But yeah.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if you guys are gonna like my pitch following those blockbusters. I am going to pitch Kwanzaa's Black as Fuck. Devils Die.
Oh God.
Why?
Because I'm fucking with you. I'm pitching the Wolverine miniseries, for Christ's sake.
Oh, okay.
You scared me.
You already pulled this trick once before by pitching America Chavez, Polly.
And it worked again. So this is the legendary 1982 miniseries, 4 issues. I mean, talk about your dream team of creatives. Written by none other than Chris Claremont. Penciled by none other than Frank Miller, Quiz's favorite.
That is an awesome cover, by the way.
Every cover of this 4-issue miniseries is legend. It have been used for pinup pages, for posters, for T-shirts. I mean, there's number 2. My favorite. There's number 3, and then number 4. And I mean, it just screams early 80s style, right? And this is before Frank Miller got heavily experimental with his art style, before he had done Sin City and then kind of never stopped making Sin City. Yeah. But the first page of this is so many of the styles that would become Wolverine writ large, from the mutton chops connecting directly to his hair in such a particular fashion, the different sayings of Wolverines and so forth. I mean, it's the first page. I'm the best there is at what I do, but what I do best isn't very nice. It's the amount of times it got used over and over again. And it seems like when you read through this miniseries, it's going to seem like, yeah, I've seen all this stuff before. Yeah, and here's where it began. Whether it be from Marvel movie or Sony movies, or from different comics that would come later. All those ideas have their genesis in this series. It's so worth reading. I mean, this is just Wolverine thinking in it, the very wordy Chris Claremont style of character development. I love it. You know, hear him taking on a bear. The scene right out of the first X-Men film where he's walking into the bar in the middle of nowhere and gets attacked, but of course it doesn't do him any damage, gets a beer mug smashed straight in his face, but what does he care? The flashbacks he has to Mariko Yashida, his Japanese princess from years back, as he heads to Japan and starts thinking back on the things. And this is basically the entire storyline of the series related to his time in Japan and leading up to his no spoilers here, involvement with Mariko. I'll leave it at that. It becomes a whole bunch of clan back and forthing in the adventures that Wolverine gets in, and he's of course an outsider, but ends up becoming sort of semi-adopted into this family, and how him and Mariko fall in love, and the endless affinity for and relationship with things Japanese that Logan will have for the rest of his life. It's just a great story, great throwback material. This miniseries is of course available as separate editions, like the original 4 floppies, but you can buy it as collected editions in graphic novel format. And a whole bunch of things has been reprinted over and over again. I checked, it's available on both Amazon and Comixology if you want to buy it that way. Highly, highly recommend it. Classic material, great pencils, fantastic. Claremont's at the absolute height of his storytelling here. Love it. Love it. I can't recommend it enough. Great adventure story, great intrigue. It's the whole thing is bookended by a love story, not bookended, threaded together by this love story of this outsider who falls in love with this, basically a princess, and how he's the princess and the pauper kind of situation. It's just fantastic. I love it. Can't recommend it enough. So yeah, the Wolverine miniseries from 1982. That's my pitch.
Classic.
Yeah, ultra classic, man, for sure. Meta Winter's right. Fox, not Sony. Yes, not Sony. It is Fox Studios. Yes. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Another one in the can. Hope you enjoyed it, and don't swallow the black pills. I mean, Christ, where you want to end up like us?
What, awesome?
Hey man, being cynical lets you know you're alive. You just need some pain every now and then.
Cynical doesn't mean you don't have hope. It just means that everybody disappoints you by being idiots.
Yes.
In any case, ladies and gentlemen, there is our show. If you are listening in the future, by all means, leave comments below. If you haven't already on your way out, please hit that like button. It definitely does help. If you thought it was good, please share it with your friends on Twitter. We would appreciate it. Anything else, Jack or Quiz?
Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.
All right, Jack.
Don't lick light sockets.
Nice, I like it. All
You
right.
can't tell me what to do. You're not my real dad.
You don't know that. I'm pretty old.
All right, have a good night, everybody. Laters.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.